We definitely saw a lot of growth from Colin there at the end. Shreyas was pointing out to me that he was averaging like 30 for the last month or a few games, 6 or so games before everything got bogged down. So do you see Colin as the point guard of the future for the Cavs? Or I know when I've watched them, I was high on Darius Garland out of Vanderbilt. As a Hawks fan, I was partially wanting us to trade up and wondering if it could work with Trey Young and Darius Garland. But do you? To me, sometimes it seems like Darius and Colin are both kind of shooting guard types. Do you see one of them becoming the more pure point guard, or do you see them drafting a LaMelo Ball and then like making it all fit together? What do you think? Do you think one of them has the potential to be like a pure point guard?
I think so. I mean, I think that's been the intention all year. They kind of went in with that mentality of, okay, like Colin's going to stay at the shooting guard, and Darius is going to take over point. And I think the problem is that we haven't seen as much growth from Darius as I think they were hoping, which is fine. Like, that happens. Like, he had a lot of good moments throughout the year, but there was like, he kind of got off to a slow start and then hit a groove and then kind of dropped off again a little bit. And then he got hurt, and then the season got suspended. So it was like,
Right.
his numbers now don't look that great.
Yeah.
But I think it's, they've always kind of had the mindset of like potential, like it's going to take a year. It's going to take a little bit of time for him to grow. But I think from how Darius was leading the offense, just like the reads that he found and like the assists or the hockey assists that he saw, I think Colin is better probably suited for shooting guard, and leave Darius at point. But to have them be able to like switch is also a good thing, because then like in some instances like then Colin can play point, and like that also worked well. I didn't think the combination would like there were a couple, it wasn't many, but like that Darius they like switched, and I think that didn't work as well. But if you have, when they had like Colin running the point and then like Kevin Porter Jr. or somebody else like at the two, like that worked well. So I think it like allows for different combinations that they can just throw out there. But the problem is like their size puts them at like a disadvantage a lot on defense, and I think that's one of the bigger things they have to work out and figure out how to combat that. But I mean, and in regards to the draft, I don't know. I have like so many questions. Like, I'm so curious what they're gonna do, because one, I think it'll depend on like what happens with like where they end up in the lottery and like who's available. Because like if they take somebody like LaMelo, like then you have a really crowded backcourt, and like what do you do there? So, or do you take somebody that's more like on the wing that has that potential to kind of float back and forth, because that's the position they really need? Or like, do they take a set? I don't know. There's like so many like possibilities, and I'm just like, I have so many thoughts and like so many questions that what'll happen there. But I don't know. I think like they seem pretty set on the future with Darius, so I would like kind of expect him to stay in that role at the point guard.